In a land known for deep brown eyes and sun-kissed skin, the sudden flash of hazel, green, gold, and amber feels like a secret from another world. How did this rare and dazzling eye color, born thousands of years ago in Ice Age Europe, end up shimmering in modern Mexican faces? The answer lies in DNA, history, and migrations that rewrote continents. Welcome to Secrets Beyond Time. Today we uncover the unexpected journey of Mexican hazel-eyes. If you're into stories like this, consider subscribing. Your support fuels more fascinating deep dives. Hazel-eyes are one of the world's rarest and most captivating eye colors. Neither fully brown nor green, they shift in tone, sometimes appearing golden, sometimes mossy or gray, depending on light, mood, and surroundings. This shimmering mix comes from a unique balance of melanin in the iris. Most eye color is determined by how much melanin your body deposits in the front layer of your iris. Brown eyes have a lot, blue eyes very little. Hazel eyes fall in between, caused by moderate melanin levels and something called the Rayleigh scattering effect, the same trick that makes the sky blue. Hazel eyes don't follow a simple inheritance pattern. Instead, multiple genes, including OCA2 and HERC2, influence them, along with genes still being studied. Globally, only about 5 to 8% of people have hazel eyes, making them both scientifically fascinating and visually stunning. To trace the roots of hazel eyes, we travel back over 40,000 years to Ice Age Europe, where early modern humans migrated from Western Asia. In these cold, low sunlight regions, lighter skin, hair, and eye traits slowly emerged as adaptations, helping the body produce more vitamin D. One of the earliest known cases of light-colored eyes comes from a 7,000-year-old skeleton found in Spain, which had dark skin but striking blue eyes, a result of ancient genetic mixing. Over millennia, Europe became a melting pot of traits through migrations and interactions with groups like the Yamnaya, Neolithic farmers, and Mesolithic hunter-gatherers. Hazel eyes likely developed in this complex genetic web as a blend between blue and brown alleles. Southern Europe, particularly regions like Spain, Italy, and parts of the Balkans, became hotspots for this rare color. And centuries later, it was from these areas that hazel-eyed genes would sail across the Atlantic. Long before European contact, Mexico was home to powerful indigenous civilizations like the Olmec, Maya, and Aztec. These societies thrived with complex cultures, advanced agriculture, and rich traditions, but genetically they shared a common root. Most native Mexicans descended from ancient Asian migrants who crossed into the Americas over 15,000 years ago. Physically, these early populations were adapted to the intense sun near the equator. High melanin levels resulted in dark hair, dark skin, and deep brown eyes, a protective trait against UV radiation. Light-colored eyes, like hazel or blue, were virtually non-existent. Still, this indigenous DNA would become the bedrock of Mexican identity. Later, when outside genes mixed in, it was this strong, unified genetic base that allowed rare traits, like hazel eyes, to emerge and survive in the Mexican population. In the early 1500s, Spanish ships reached the shores of Mexico, launching a wave of conquest that would forever alter the region's genetic makeup. Hernán Cortés and his conquistadors didn't just bring swords, religion, and language. They brought DNA, including the rare eye color genes carried by many southern Europeans. Many Spaniards hailed from regions like Castile, Extremadura, and Andalusia, where centuries of mixing with Moors, Jews, and Mediterranean peoples created rich genetic variety. Hazel and green eyes were more common there than in Northern Europe, and when these newcomers settled, they passed these traits on. Spanish men often had children with indigenous women, producing a new population, the mestizos. Over generations, this blend of European and Native American ancestry created room for rare features to resurface. While darker traits usually dominated every so often, when both parents carried the right genetic combo, hazel eyes appeared. This was more than chance, it was evolution through diversity. By the time Mexico gained independence in 1821, Hazel-Eyes had already woven themselves into the country's genetic story, a gleaming sign of how two very different worlds had come together. Mexico's genetic story didn't stop with the Spanish. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, new waves of immigrants arrived, each adding fresh layers to the country's diverse DNA, and increasing the odds of rare traits like Hazel-Eyes reappearing. Immigrants came from Italy, France, Germany, Lebanon, Syria, and other parts of the Middle East. Many settled in northern and central Mexico, marrying into local communities. These groups often carried lighter pigmentation genes, including those associated with hazel, green, and even blue eyes. French influence grew during the short reign of Emperor Maximilian in the 1860s. Lebanese and Syrian families became prominent in business and culture, especially during the Porfirio Diaz era. Each new community brought its own genetic footprint, adding complexity to an already diverse population. In these mixed families, Hazel-Eyes sometimes skipped a generation, only to reappear decades later. Mexico became a genetic crossroads, where ancient American roots met European, Middle Eastern, and Mediterranean strands. And in that tangled lineage, Hazel-Eyes found fertile ground to shine. Hazel-Eyes can appear anywhere in Mexico, but they're noticeably more common in certain regions, especially in the north and major urban centers, where European and Middle Eastern ancestry runs deeper. States like Nuevo León, Chihuahua, Sonora, Coahuila, and Baja California have higher percentages of residents with lighter features. These areas historically received more settlers from Spain, France, and the Middle East, and they also experienced more intermarriage between local populations and immigrants. As a result, genetic diversity, and the chances of rare eye colors, increased. Mexico City is another hotspot. As a national capital and cultural hub, it has drawn people from across the country and the world. Its cosmopolitan DNA includes roots from indigenous tribes, Spanish colonists, Lebanese merchants, and even Asian immigrants. In contrast, southern states like Oaxaca, Chiapas, and Guerrero maintain stronger indigenous roots. Here, brown eyes remain almost universal, and hazel eyes are far rarer. These regional differences don't just reflect genetics. They map the history of migration, settlement, and cultural blending across the country. In Mexico, hazel eyes aren't just a genetic twist. They carry cultural meaning. Often seen as mysterious or exotic, they stand out in a country where darker features are the norm. In telenovelas and movies, characters with hazel or green eyes are sometimes portrayed as intriguing outsiders or romantic leads. But beyond media, hazel eyes spark personal stories. Families often recall ancestors with unusual eyes, a Spanish great-grandfather, a Lebanese great-aunt, a forgotten French surname. These features connect people to distant roots and untold journeys. In indigenous and mestizo communities, hazel eyes are a quiet reminder of survival and change. They show how bloodlines merged over centuries, blending histories that once seemed worlds apart. It's not just about color, it's about connection. Hazel eyes in Mexico are more than just beautiful, they're living proof of a deep, interconnected human story. From Ice Age Europe to pre-Hispanic civilizations, from Spanish galleons to Middle Eastern merchants, this rare eye color has crossed continents and centuries to find a home in Mexican faces. Each hazel gaze reflects generations of migration, love, struggle, and survival. It's a reminder that identity is never simple or singular. In every region, in every family, Mexico carries pieces of the world, woven into its people like a rich, colorful tapestry. So the next time you see someone with hazel eyes in Mexico, remember, those eyes are windows into ancient ice fields, Mediterranean coasts, Aztec temples, and bustling colonial cities. They tell a story not just of where someone comes from, but of how the world came together. If you enjoyed this journey through history and genetics, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's always another secret waiting to be uncovered.